This stuff in Yerushalmi Eruvin, the article Oz V'Har additional on Dav Vav Amar Aleph, the fifth line down, Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yeshua, which in the Vilna is also on Dav Vav Amar Aleph, but many lines further down. 26, 9, 12, 15 lines down. Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yeshua, we have machlekes when you have a Rishus Harabim. You need to have doors on either side of the area which you're enclosing, both sides of the area you're closing. Motzi, when you come in and go out, v'noel, you have to lock the doors. In other words, the doors have to be closed when you come in and come out. It's enough to have a door on one side and it's best on the other side. Amar Shmuel said, Halacha Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yeshua. So the halacha is like Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yeshua. They need to have door, at least one door. Going to Beis Hill, 2 doors going to Yerushalmi, but of course, we're passing at Beis Hill. So asking Rav Lodai Kadmaisa, why is it not like the first halacha, which you saw yesterday, that it's at least if you have tzir or ben tzir, that was good enough. So here too, let tzir and ben tzir be enough. In other words, that should be like a delis. If you hold the Tzuras HaPesach is a kind of coming and Gemi Agaben, okay, I understand. So maybe the delis is substantially different. But once you're saying that you need a tzir and ben tzir, that should be enough. Why do you have to have also the door? So Gemara says, Rabbi Ba, Aidei Dos Unino. Because the whole point, in order to stop saying Rishus Harabim, you have to stop the passers-by. In other words, you have to actually physically impede the traffic. And the tzir ben tzir is a nice concept, and it could be it's a mechitza, but it doesn't impede the traffic. So in order to make something ois Rishus Harabim, you need not just to have a proper mechitza, but also to impede the traffic, which is why you need a door which, at least theoretically, can impede the traffic, as opposed to tzir ben tzir, which cannot. There's, of course, the independent question of whether the door has to be closed or has to be royally noil, which Yerushalmi is not into here, but you need something to impede traffic. Going to be Yerushalmi, Mamash has to be closed, going to be so, but it has to be royally noil, perhaps closed occasionally. Of course, the post can speak about this, but in any event, you need a door to impede traffic, not just to have a mechitza. Rabbi Acha Paskam, the other Tzuras HaPesach should certainly cause him being Arbamos. If you make it Tzuras HaPesach, it has to be more than 4 amos away from the opening to the Mavli. It's a nice picture in the art scroll. Okay, 4 amos indented in the Mavli. And the Reb Meir Simcha, and the Meir Samech, and Reb Chaim bring a beautiful shot that they bring more from Basta, Daf Yud Beis, that Bnei Mavli are not allowed to put a door within 4 amos of the opening of a Mavli. Because the Bnei Rishus Harabim have the right to impede upon them to put a door within the last 4 amos there, and therefore, if you're making it so as a Pesach, according to the Shita, which requires a tzir or ben tzir, it's got to be mamish like a door, and just like a door, on account of a chesed mishpat issue of impeding the hiluch of Rishus Harabim, impeding the traffic of Rishus Harabim, now to put a door within 4 amos, the tzir or ben tzir, which is really a symbolic door as opposed to I should say more of a symbolic door than the standard Tzuras HaPesach, that also has to be recessed 4 amos away from the opening of the Mavli. So it's not like a picture in the art scroll where it's a kana and a kana gabeim, which I showed you, but specifically in the case of tzir uben, where there's also a tzir uben tzir. Rabbi Ivon Horei Kahin, actually Yerushalmi Kipshuta puts in the word tinyana here, which goes like I mentioned at the end of the daf yesterday, that it seems like that the previous Gemara, which talked about the lechi or koira being sufficient, or the Tzuras HaPesach being sufficient for Rishus Harabim, and now we have Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yeshua, who says no, you need a delis, not just lechi or koira or Tzuras HaPesach. And the Rabbi Ivan and Hari Kahain, whether you put in the word tinyana, don't put in the tinyana, seems to be going on this second statement. Pascal like B'chai B'Yeshua, And according to Basil, they need at least one delas in order to be ma'ariv, which is rabbin. It's not enough to have a tourist of Pesach. Alternatively, he's saying that Rabbi Ibn Horekaini Paskin like Ravacha. That's the way the Korban learns it. Rabbi Zira B'Shem Rav Chisda said, "Yisedo seitzin yotzas mikos le'mavli adam notzin lehem as a kaira." Nice tzir in the Rav Chaim. We have pegs which come out from the kos le'mavli. You can put the kaira on top of them in front of the mavli. Umatas mavli. V'heinshu tov shlosh al kos le'mavli has to be within 3 tefachim of the kos le'mavli, and the Korban Ada points out. It can't be distant, going outwards, and not higher. As if the Korah is distant 3 tefachim from the walls of Mavi, whether it's lengthwise or height-wise, it's not effective. The Bina Korah Gabi Mavi Leko. But it's Mishosh Amrin Lovin. But it's in 3 tefachim, even it's in the front of it, you still say Lovin, and it's okay. Now the question is these pegs, how strong, how much they have to support. They have to be strong enough to accept the Korah and its Arichel. Now, a Korah doesn't, the Arichim are, we're going to come to later on in Halacha Gimel. Korah has to have be strong enough to hold Arichim, to hold a brick on top. It has to be a tefach wide, or the brick of a tefach and a half. As you have in the picture here, with the dimensions. So the question is that's the Korah itself, but what are the pegs? The pegs, they have to be strong enough embedded in the wall they can hold the Korah and its ariach. And even the pegs are not strong enough to imakabo the Korah and its arichim. Just the Korah itself. The Korah has to be significant enough to hold arichim, but not the pegs which hold it. And the Korah, it's not just about the pegs when they're outside the mavi, pegs when they're inside the mavi. The same principle. The question is, how is that a shear in the Korah itself that has to be strong enough to be makabo or arichim, or is a shear in the entire structure has to be makabo strong enough, including the pegs that's to be makabo arichim? Rabbi Zira asked, "Tachas Korah also matir samavli?" Wait a second. How does this work? As the Korah puts it, Tachas Korah also lishtamish amuna chutz samavli. On that Korah, which is outside the mavli, we said you're not allowed to use it. And I lost my place. Matis mavi bitmia. Echte hey Korah zumater samavi. Ik lemechel shem mishav shachira. You might come to use under the Korah, so that could be permissible. Rabbi Ila said, "Why not?" Now the Shmuel, then we have a precedent for this from Shmuel. Shmuel Taskor Osir. Shmuel say now it's used on the Korah. You have to matir samavi. It's still permits the mavi. You can't to have ishtamshus under the Korah, but still the Korah is matir the mavi on the inside side of the Korah. The Korban Ada adds the Korah to mishum mechitza. The Korah is a wall, so v'chuda pnimi yer v'seisim, and the inner side comes down and closes off the mavi. Nimtza tachas Korah min mechitza v'lachutz also. So under the Korah is like outside the mechitza, and therefore it's also. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Zira B'Shem Shmuel said, "Tachas a Korah, underneath the Korah where you have a Korah. Ben L'chaim, between L'chaim when you have L'chaim, not necessarily, of course, the mother needs one lechi. So the Korah says not necessarily between 2 L'chaim, but when you have a lechi, the thickness of the lechi, Nidan Kaskoipa, it's like a threshold. Rabbi Zira asked, like what kind of threshold? Kaskripa muteris, like a threshold you're allowed to carry, or kaskripa sort like a threshold you're not allowed to carry. Rabbi Zera said, "Ad taman." Rabbi Zera said, "Well, soon chutzor it's tarchali." I had this question. Katzir zohacha And when it came to Eretz Yisrael, Shamis, I heard Rabbi Yasser Shem Yochel said, "Iskupa gva astora." If you have a iskupa, a threshold which is 10 tefachim high, ve'enu chava arba, which is not 4 tefachim wide, so it's not rishus by not the shear of rishus. Mutar kan. It's permitted for both sides to use it. It's a makam tur, right? It's 10 tefachim high, but not 4 by 4 tefachim. So it's a makam tur. It's permitted both sides to use it. But you can't go through it to the other side. Whereas people on the inside can use it, people outside can use it. You can't take something from inside through the makam tur to outside. So now Karmener says on that, and lo yachliv lo name will come out mishus ram mishus yachid. You can't say taking from mishus ram to mishus yachid. But as mishus tzov Shabbos and people come to matzot on Shabbos, ben chayim, but between chayim. Nami, I feel if you consider places atzmo, like this askupa, which is 10 but not 4 by 4, but the shari. It'd be permitted for both. If you're going to skupa, it's kind of like the skupa mokum tour, and each side will be able to use it as long as you don't again use it to traverse from one side to the other. It'll be okay to be askupa muteres. So Omar Rabbi Monakum Rabbi Yossi Chamema Amar. See what he said. Lo Amar L'B'Shem Shem Rocha Barba. It's only if it's not 4 by 4 tvachim. If it is 4 by 4 tvachim, so then the threshold has its din of rishus unto itself. Asur and be forbidden for the inside to use it, or the outside to use it. Be a separate, independent place. Amalei said, no. If it's 4 tvachim wide, and we're talking about now with the Korah, v'adi amaltura. This is a maltura, meaning it's a roof, right? Ilu maltura shemein muteres. And this maltura, which a board on top, isn't it mutter to use underneath because pitikra yard v'soisim. The outside is the pitikra, and that's allowed to use under that korah till the outside, till the outer edge. So that would be a scuba muteris. But getting back now to a regular korah, Rabbi Zira Amar Shmuel of Rabbi Yochanan. Zira said Shmuel Rabbi Yochanan discussed it. Shmuel Amar Taskor Aser, the inner side of the korah is yard v'saisim, so under the korah is aser. V'yocham muter. Yocham says the outer side of the korah is what's saisim, and therefore under the korah is muter. Of course, presumably we're talking about the korah. We're talking about korah over the mavli itself, not the one outside the mavli. Hakol maya ben el-chaim shaser. But everybody agrees that ben el-chaim, once if the lechi is indented to the mavli, you can't go. Then the inner edge of the lechi is what cuts it off. You can't carry between l'chayim. But Tanakin, and we also learned it as a brisa. And we have nice pictures here in the arts code, which I'll show you in a minute. So we have mavli. So also l'chayim l'chayim. We have mavli, which is made with a series of l'chayim at the end. Why I made this way, kasha and myself. But here you have a series of l'chayim in the top picture over there. Lechi. So, im yesh ben zu lezu arba tfachim. If between each lechi is 4 tfachim, so they're not considered to be one long lechi, because each one has a shear of a mavli in front of it to the next lechi. So, metal lechi, so you can go to the outermost one. Bilav not, if each one doesn't have a 4 tfachim gap between it and the next one, then they're all considered to be like one long lechi, because there's a sheer mavli between the next ones. Metali apnim, you can only carry to the inner one. And that from there on in, you can't carry because you're already, it's ben el-chaim, and ben el-chaim is, even though it's a lot of small lechis, it's all considered to be one continuous lechi, and you can't carry. But the Gemara says, that's only if there's not, the outer one is not thicker than the inner ones. If the outer one is thicker, then metaltin and chitzon, you go chitzon even though they're all connected to each other. And the carbonator calls it lovud here, but it's not really the classic lovud, which only you say with 3 tfachim. But if they're connected, even they're connected to each other, it's not one lechi because the outer one is a different shape, and it's the nikar that's different, and therefore that's the actual lechi. And it was the mavli extends therefore until then, and therefore allowed to carry, but until the outer lechem, of course. Once you reach the outer lechem, you can't carry beyond that. Actually, the court may is going with the holds it's going with the sheet of Roshin Gamliel holds that we say love it up until 4 tefachim, but you don't really have to learn that way in the Gemara here. You say the question is whether you have a sheer mavui in between each one. I want to point out in that respect that all of the Mepharshim, the Korban Eidah, Pnei Moshe, the Reb Chaim, I don't know, others maybe as well, learn that way, that it's going to Shita Rishon Gamliel, that love is up to 4 tvachim, and therefore if the series of l'chaim are within 4 tvachim of each other, there's love, and therefore you have to say that the inner one is the innermost is the lechi. If it's more than 4 tvachim, you don't say love, you can say the outermost one is the lechi, because it seems that way from the Bavli Daf Tes. That's the issue. Whether there's, in this case is of a gap of 4 tvachim, that this is specifically according to Rishon Gamliel that we have this halacha. But I don't think it's matched away from the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi, it's not mentioning Rishon Gamliel. Therefore, that's what I'm saying. I'm positing. I'm suggesting. I could be wrong. That it's because it has to do with the sheer makom. In other words, for each lechi to be independent and not going to be one lone lechi, each lechi has to be a lechi for a mavli of 4 tvachim. If there's no, it's in 4 tvachim shilachayim, so then it's all one long lechi because there's no separate, so to speak, sheer mavli for each one of them. Okay. Again, don't know if I'm right about that. Okay. Halacha beis. Hechsher mavli. How do you machshir mavli? Beis Shammai Amrim Lech v'Korah. Beis Shammai needs to need both Lech and Korah. Beis Shammai O Lechi O Korah. Either one. Rabbi Eliezer Mer L'chaim need 2 Lechis. Mishma Amar Tamid Echel Nei Rabbi Akiva. Lo Nechu Beis Shammai Beis Shammai Mavli Shu Pachas Me'arba Amos. If the width of the Mavli is less than 4 Amos, Shu O B'Lechi O B'Korah. Either one suffices. Alman Echlu was a Machlokes Arocha Me'arba Amos Vad Eser, from between 4 and 10. Shvesham, of course, more than needed to Pesach. Shvesham Ramim Lechi B'Korah. B'Sham I say between 4 and 10 need Lechi or and Korah. Same O Lechi O Korah. Either Lechi or Korah. Amir Akiva said no. Al Zeb Al Zen Echluku. The Machlokas is between the even smaller than 4 amos, but the same Machlokas whether it's less than 4 amos or more than 4 amos. So Gemara says Ma L'chayim. What's L'chayim that Rabbi Eliezer mentions? What does he mean? L'chayim v'korah Beis Shammai needs, like Beis Shammai says, needs v'korah except he requires 2. L'chayim v'lo Beis Hillel. No, he doesn't require korah as well, but he requires just lechi like Beis Hillel, but he requires 2. Shlosha, there's required 3 tvachim, like Rabbi Yossi, who later on in Halacha Vav says that the rochav of L'chayim is 3 tvachim. Koshu, there's the that they can be a koshu k'rabbanan later on in that Mishnah as well. Holds like the koshu is enough. So let's resolve this question where Rabbi Eliezer holds from here. Ma'aser Rabbi Eliezer, it's Rabbi Yossi ben Brura Talmido Uvlin. Eliezer went to his Talmud of his in Uvlin for a mavi echad, and he showed him a mavi. V'lo bo'eli lechi echad, only one lechi bilvad, only one lechi. I'm going to say alei lo l'chayim. Make 2 l'chayim. Make another lechi. So Armalovi said, Armalo mat Armalo sosmo. Well, he telling me to close it up. Now the Yerushalmi Eruvin says very nicely. He says that this references back to the Or Sameach we mentioned earlier. That I can't do that. I can't put impediments to the Rishus Harabim within 4 amos of the Rishus Harabim. I can't put a bunch of 2 l'chaim up. You're telling me to be seisim. It's a Cheshem Mishra problem with the Bnei Rishus Harabim. So he says, said, yeah, close it up. It's not a problem. What Meshbiach really changes the gears here significantly, but we'll go with the gears which you have here. What does Shabbos have to do with the Cheshem Mishpat issue? So, in other words, what I'm telling you to do is not something. One of the things with is not one of the things which usher to do. Now I put up doors, but to put up 2 l'chayim that you're allowed to do. So now Adam Ara, but the fact that he asked him the question that you ask him, tell me to close it up, it must be Shlosha Rabbi Yossi. Must be El L'chaim, must be Tfachim like Rabbi Yossi, because in Temer Koshu Krabanan, if he's saying it's the two L'chaim are Koshu Soisim, the kosher is considered to be a closure. It's not really a closure. It's just a stick here, a stick there. Must be that you know it's each side is 3 tefachim. So Tani Balok Divrei Talmud. Halach is like the Talmud, like Rabbi Yossi ben Preda, who said you only need 1 lechi. Not Rabbi Lezer who told him to put up another lechi. Says Gemara, the lokain. If that's not the case, in our Mishnah, Manami, we say Kebei Shammai. We say halach is like Kebei Shammai. Yesh halach Kebei Shammai. The halach Kebei Hillel, not like the Beis Hillel? I mean, isn't it obvious? Okay, it's obviously, Rabbi Lezer is saying two l'chayim, and Bishama said lechi and koira. But the point is that both Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Beishamai, and Rabbi Lezer, especially Rabbi Lezer Shamuti, who he'd be a variation of the theme on Beishamai. In other words, Rabbi Lezer holds two l'chayim, Beishamai holds lechi v'koira. They're both not like Beis Hillel. So, of course, we're going to pass on Bill. It's not going to pass on Beishamai or Rabbi Lezer, who's a variation on that theme. Okay, so next Gemara, the answer, the Kilin Shas simplifies matters significantly by changing the Girsa. I'm going to go with the Girsa of the Korban Eda, which is like our Gemara, with the Korban Eda's interpretation, our Gemara, which goes with the Gemara as is in front of us. The Mashbiach also says the same thing, even though it's a little bit difficult in the words. But so why do you have to tell us? I said, wait, begin the time of Shin Gamliel Mer Movi Shem Ba'arba Tlachim Eno Tzarech Korah. So we have a brisa which says that Shin Gamliel said Movi, which is less than 4 Tlachim, why it doesn't require Korah. Divrei Chachamim, according to even Korah required, doesn't require Korah. And Rav Huna B'Shem Rav said that's not the proper girsa in what Rosh Gamliel said, because obviously it's less than 4 Tlachim, it's not even opening. Rather, Mavish Upachas Me'arba Amos ain't a tzar klum. If Mavish is less for Amos, doesn't require anything. That's why you have to say a loch divrei Talmud that 1 lechi do require. Even if it's less than 4 Amos, so you still require something, and that one thing which require is a lechi, and we pass that way, not 2, not lechi and korah, but 1 lechi always require. And that brings us to the end for today.